Hello there. Welcome back to my channel. I'm R the Silent, and today we're going to be talking about soul contracts. You ever hear the expression, nothing in life is free? It's definitely true. So, let's get into it, right? So what is a soul contract? A soul contract is, just as a slight example, a contract you have with someone you love before you incarnate in physical form in the world. So how does this happen, right? So what happens is that you go to, when you pass away, you go to the fourth dimension, the astral realm, and you deal, like I've said before in previous videos, you deal with emotional baggage, and you kind of like, in a way, purify yourself to go to the higher dimension, which I believe is like the higher dimension of heaven, or what it's called as heaven, which is just a place to rest between lifetimes, which I believe is in like the seventh dimension. And then you go there, and while you're resting, you talk to other souls about your next incarnation, if it's something you want to do, or if you're just completely done. I'm sure you could just leave. But this seems to be a place where a lot of people get stuck. It's a big school, and there's lots to learn. So just like for imagery, right? So let's say you go up to heaven, and or this heavenly place, or this in-between place, right? And what you do is you gather your friends or other souls around. For example, just for the sake of example, you guys all sit around a table and you discuss who's going to be in your life, if you're going to be in their life, and your influence on them in their life. So like, let's say your sister is up there with you, right? And in the last lifetime, well, I guess we're all brothers and sisters on a soul level, but let's just say like a friend of yours, right? And a few lifetimes ago, she was still alive, or you had already passed away, you know, whatever. A few lifetimes ago, you were her parent. You were her mother or father, right? So she owes you a debt. So in this lifetime, since you're both passed away, both of the souls have like passed away at the same time, you can then create a contract saying that she's going to be like your mother or your father, or even your bigger sibling, because you're learning a specific lesson about parents in this upcoming life, and you know, maybe you're an orphan and she chooses to be the one to take care of you, you know, like those kinds of things. Those are definitely soul contracts. And every family member that you have, like a brother, a sister, father, a cousin, anyone who has a major influence or connection to you in your life, there is a soul contract for that. Even if it's minute, but they're still family, and they still come around. And you can usually tell these connections because all of these relationships tend to teach us something very important about life, and sometimes they tend to scar us, and you learn something from that specific event. But what we should really be doing is learning how to release that karma, to forgive. And there are layers to forgiveness, and the last layer to forgiveness is gratitude that the event had happened in the first place, or else you wouldn't be exactly where you are. So all of these levels are of soul contracts are very important to our karmic lessons that we learn in life. Karma meaning just cause and effect, and not all religions or like spiritual beliefs believe in karma, but on a soul aspect, or an aspect of evolution and learning throughout our 3D existence. Yes, it's definitely very, very important. One of the main reasons why we come down here. Not just because being in physical form is fun and there's free will involved. But these specific relationships, like I had said, teach us something very important. And sometimes it's a lover or a best friend, like they teach us the value of trust, loyalty, or even forgiveness. They could hurt you entirely, and then they teach you, and then they become like the reason as to how you know to forgive people. Or like when it comes to like being a lover with somebody, you could be a guide, a teacher, and you agreed to that on the higher planes before you came down here. You agreed to teach somebody how to survive in life, how to pay bills, how to recover from abuse, and those specific events, you can, as far as having experienced that, you can kind of tell when they're starting to come to an end because there's nothing left for you to teach them. And then you tend to stay in these kinds of relationships just for sake of convenience and comfort, and they obviously don't work. They're not good for you. They are not healthy. So then at which point you can choose to end these kind of contracts, because there is still free will. And then at the end of the contract, you'll learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn, And like with abusive relationships and stuff like that, the people who are being abused in those relationships choose to stay not only because of Stockholm Syndrome, but because they have a soul contract with that person to teach them perhaps how to stand up for themselves, how to love themselves properly, or it sets them on course for them to figure out how to love themselves, and that's exactly what they need, So some of these contracts are they cut really deep. They go really far on an emotional level. Let's see. Pets. Right. So pets are the same. We make soul contracts with animals, and they go to the in-between place as well. And it's quite interesting the level of conscious effort that pets have in our lives. Sometimes they pass away and they choose to come back and reincarnate. Sometimes they pass away and another animal soul comes in and takes that spot because it was a contract that you made with the animals before it came into existence. And there's even some recollection or even some records of or belief that animals can also have walk-ins as well. And a walk-in is a soul that comes into the body and inhabits the body, even though there's already a soul in that body, and it takes over in control of the body to fulfill a contract that you may have agreed to in a different run, right? So let's see. I think that's for sure not it. Okay. Right, so maybe we could fix the lighting in here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, breaking contracts. Maybe? Is that it? No. Breaking contracts. It's not easy to break a soul contract, but a lot of times it's necessary. You can, we have free will, and there is a thing such as destiny, and I say that very mildly. I'm not a firm believer in destiny per se, but when it comes to karma, I believe that there are certain things we are supposed to do while we're here even though we have free will and can choose to avoid them, and we can choose to avoid them for lifetimes on lifetimes, and keep coming back, making the same mistakes, keep coming back. It's like, and I said this in one of my other videos, uh, Earth is a school. It's for sure a school. You cannot jump a grade, but you for sure can stay back a grade for as long as it takes for you to figure out what it is you need to learn to be able to go to the next grade. Destiny, right? So so I figured out my life purpose, and it was it was way more different than I expected it to be. So it was like, it wasn't doing a specific job title. It was definitely a specific feeling. And I know that sounds weird, but it's freedom. Freedom from society, from debt, freedom from, not from people, but within relationships, uh, and of course freedom like financially. So it came down to just one emotion, and there are several different ways that I can accomplish this goal of wanting to be free. So it really made me rethink about, oh well, this is my destiny, or this is my destiny, when there's in the multiverse in the multiverse infinite ways to accomplish the goal that I want, and I can make one decision here or not make a decision there, and that'll affect my future. And it's not something to sit and overthink. I mean, it's just school, right? Not saying I want to come back. I really don't. I really don't. Which is why forgiveness is incredibly important. Exceptionally important. It's unhealthy to stay angry or to stay sad all the time. And I understand some people can't help it, and that's fine. That's fine. I can't help it either. But forgiveness goes a long way. So I don't want to come back. Not for a while. At least I'm sure there's other things I could be doing across the stars that are far more interesting. But they say about the souls, some of us heard the call and had to come down and help, or chose to come down and help. So destiny is a fickle thing, but just know there's a multitude of ways to accomplish a goal. And even if your face has been smashed in the dirt again and again and again, it's always a choice to get up every time. It has to be a choice. There's no other way. You have to get up. It's the only way. Truly. So I think that's it for today's video on soul contracts, right? So let's see, I discussed relationships, parents. Maybe you'll be a parent to your parent in the next life, or a brother to your sister in the next life, right? To repay a karmic debt. Maybe they teach you certain lessons in life. Abusers also teach us something in life as well. Stick up for yourself, boundaries, how to forgive them, not for them. Besides, they're still going to be suffering once you're over it, so it's best to just forgive. although we never forget. Pets, we talked about pets and their course in our lives. Sometimes it has to do with keeping us on course with our destiny, which of course can be different lines of actions to the same goal. Destiny, of course, doesn't have to be a specific career in mind. It can be just a way to an emotion. Or it could just be an emotion itself, right? So animals, family, trauma, abusers. Did I say pets? Because I meant pets. And then destiny, right? And maybe I'll do a video later on in time about the Akashic records and how that affects certain things in life as well. So I believe that's it for today's video. Don't forget to release the things that are no longer good for us. Break those contracts if they are pulling us down, and to release anger and sadness when necessary, as that will keep us away from our spiritual path, right? So that's it for today. I'm the Silent. If you like the video, smash that like button and subscribe if you don't mind. And I will see you guys next week. All right. Much love.